This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. There is no doubt it is not one of my favorite games of all time, and it actually, for the first time in a few years, I actually spent some money buying something from Games Workshop. And of course I am going to get, because I have every edition, and that's Blood Bowl, the 3rd season edition. Do you really need this if you have the second or third? The first, second seasons. Well, let's go down. We'll talk a little bit about it, and then we'll talk more when we get up on the other side. So I do want to show you some of the stuff that you get in the box. I'm in the middle of putting everything together. You're going to get, of course, the how to put everything together. And you know, they're a little bit smaller than what what I'm used to. The older one, the old 2nd edition, actually 3rd edition, were a little bit bigger, but that isn't going to bother anything. I like these, the little counters here that you're going to put around the bases when they become stunned. That way you don't have to lay them down, turn them over. We used to, when they were stunned, turn them over, then turn them back over, then stand them up. And you have so much going on, it kind of, it makes for, it could be a little tedious at times. But putting these out, I really like these. Bomb, possession, all that other good stuff. You are going to get 2 cheat sheets, which are really going to help you for both sides of the team. Of course, giving you all the kind of stuff that you need: the kickoff table, the post-game sequence, and stuff like that. Your actions, passing, running, moving, what everything means on the dice, of course, which is very, very helpful. You're going to get your 2 teams, which I still have yet to put together, which I'm in the process of doing. You're going to get your measuring stick, of course, which goes together, and that's going to determine long, short, medium, long. When you're passing, your tokens that are going to help you when you're throwing the ball in, or on when there's a fumble and bounces, determining where those things are going to go. You're going to get a whole bunch of dice, that's for doggone sure. I always liked just the simple white dice, but now they split everything up. And of course, you're going to have your different things as far as knockdown, pushbacks, and then fumbles, or fails as they call them. You're going to get 2 D6, because that's going to be very important. The one die that they made a change here, made it a little harder to kill, but not really. Is your injury thing. Oh, look at that, 14. They would have been a permanent nagging injury. That's what it ended up being. You're going to get your pitch, which will be too big to take out and show you, but I like what they've done with pitches going forward. And then, of course, you're going to get the most important thing here, which is your living official rule book for Season 3. And hardcover, beautiful. As you can see, this is all the stuff that you're going to get. You're going to get your dugouts, and everything will be in there. It's 8 turns per half, of course. And, it is one of the most strategic games out there, and probably one of the best sports games ever made. I've always enjoyed it. It's going to give you the rules on the game of Blood Bowl, the history of Blood Bowl. They give no credit to the guy that developed this, which is kind of funny. You think you would find it in here, but I guess, the hive mind has its way of doing things. Again, we talked about the tokens and stuff like that. Your blocking dice, your D6, your D8, your D16. Yeah, that's one that always takes a little bit getting used to. The game of 2 halves, of course, but kind of making sure that you understand every single aspect of the game. Your draft teams list, these are always good to print out. make a bunch of copies of these or download them. There's some people that have made some really great ones. And, you're going to build your team, and it becomes very personal, putting your team together. Match play, how that works. They actually have leagues in here and stuff like that. You're going to be trying to get your teams better. Team leagues, how that's going to work out. I just wonder without Death Zone, maybe they're changing all the All-Stars. We'll see. But, here you go with your basic, rules for each team. They're going to have your list, and you'll build your team accordingly, and how much each will cost you. Their primary skills, where you'll be able to grab one, and a secondary skills. What they start with as far as skills, the Tomb Kings start with that. Regenerate. I hate that thing. Each stats are going to be your movement stats. Your strength stats are going to really be key when you were rolling against another opponent for blocking. Your agility, being able to move by opponents. Your passing ability. Now that's a different thing, because it used to be that you always would go off your agility, but now they have a passing ability. And then your armor value, which you're going to have to roll and try to beat in order to get somebody off the thing. But they're going to have every single team here, which is really cool. And the Dark Elves, the Dwarves. I always hated that machine. I never thought it belonged on the thing. The Elven Union, the Gnomes, which I haven't played with yet. Goblin teams, halfling teams, my New York midgets. I still have those. They're really cool. Human teams, Imperial Nobles, Lizard Man teams, which are an all-time classic. My Khorne, which are really, really, really good. I like the old just Chaos Norse teams, Necromantic Horrors. Just plenty of teams that they've added over the years. Of course, everybody loves playing orcs. I mean, you can't go wrong there. Skaven, which are just incredibly fast and a pain in the neck. And your undead teams, your Tomb Kings, like I said, they're full of regeneration now. Snotling teams, vampire teams, another one would regenerate, which I hate, and they're just brutal. And your Wood Elves, which was the very first team I ever played. And just a really nice, everything that you need to take Season 3 to the next level. So let's go up top, get my final thoughts, and we'll get on out of here. For me, the Bretonnians were always a specialty team. I knew that they had them out there and so forth and so on, especially with the old editions when you used to have to go through the Foundry, I think, to get Bretonnians. I think this is really neat. It adds something, especially since they're building this whole thing with the old world and stuff like that, which I just haven't bought into, which maybe I should. But honestly, Bretonnians and Tomb Kings, adding that to everything else that I have, it just adds more flavor, and it's done very nicely. Some of the changes that have been made, I'm a real historian when it comes to this game. I played the very first edition all the way to, the newest editions. This one, reading the book, the 16-sided die to decide somebody's fate. I always liked rolling the 2 dice and, the old injury way that they did things. I'm not going to complain too much about that. It's a little bit more fast-paced moving for a game that usually takes 2 to 3 hours, can be very strategic. And this base set, like I showed, comes with, enough, and to really take this to another level. And I think, again, Blood Bowl, you can never go wrong with it. If you haven't played it, I didn't do a rules explanation or anything like that, because I've got to put the figures together and everything like that. But I really wanted to talk on whether you should get this or not. So even if you are a new fan or a very old fan like myself, I think it's well worth it. It's well worth it. It was only $150, which is pretty good. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going with Warhammer Quest. We'll see in a couple weeks, that's for sure. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.